Imagine waking up one day and realizing your memory isn't working the way it used to. You start forgetting names, appointments, places, and it all happens so slowly that it seems like a normal part of aging. But what if I told you that, behind this silent loss, there could be common medications, prescribed every day, even to you or someone in your family? Popular medications that, instead of helping, are quietly speeding up your brain's degeneration. In recent years, researchers around the world have raised an alarming concern. Certain classes of drugs, widely used by older adults, have been linked to early-onset dementia, mental confusion, and cognitive decline. The most frightening part is that many of these medications are considered safe, prescribed for decades without a real understanding of their long-term side effects. And without even knowing it, you might be taking one of those medications right now. In this video, I'm going to reveal the 5 most dangerous medications for brain health in older adults, based on recent studies and data that are beginning to alarm even health professionals. And the last one on the list is the most common of all, but also the most devastating. If you know someone over 60, you need to watch this until the end. This could be the information that prevents an irreversible decline in memory, mental clarity, and independence. So go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for more content that can literally protect your future. And leave a comment below if you've taken or are currently taking any of these medications, and how your memory is doing. Let's start with one of the most common and dangerous medications for people over 60, muscle relaxants. They're prescribed to relieve pain, spasms, and muscle tension, so they seem harmless. But what few people know is that, over time, these drugs can have a deep and silent impact on brain function. Most muscle relaxants work by depressing the central nervous system. In other words, they slow down neuron activity. This can bring immediate relief from pain and stiffness, but it also reduces reaction time, focus, memory, and mental clarity. In older adults, the risk is even higher. Their metabolism is slower, so the medication stays in their system longer, compounding the side effects. Studies show that continuous use of these drugs is linked to mental confusion, excessive drowsiness, and in many cases, early-onset dementia. The brain begins to lose its natural ability to connect, which shows up as minor forgetfulness, trouble concentrating, irritability, and disorientation. Unfortunately, these symptoms are often mistaken for just getting older, when in reality, they're caused by the medication. And we're not talking about rare drugs. Muscle relaxants are among the most commonly prescribed in the US, and in many cases, they're used for extended periods, even though they should only be temporary. What starts out as quick relief can slowly chip away at your mental sharpness. In Eastern wisdom, there's a simple principle. What relieves now can imprison later. We must be cautious with easy, quick fixes, especially when the cost is your mental autonomy. So if you regularly use muscle relaxants, talk to your doctor about alternatives, like physical therapy, lifestyle changes, or even natural treatments with less neurological impact. Your mind is your most valuable asset, and you have the right to protect it with information, awareness, and safer choices. The second type of medication that deserves your attention are the so-called anxiolytics and sedatives, used to treat anxiety, insomnia, stress attacks, and sometimes even mild symptoms of depression. They're frequently prescribed, especially to older people who report trouble sleeping or emotional agitation. The promise is simple: sleep better, feel calmer, control fear. But what many people don't know is that over time, these drugs can speed up memory loss, cause mental confusion, and even increase the risk of dementia. These medications work directly on the central nervous system, reducing brain activity to induce relaxation. But when taken continuously, they also decrease the brain's ability to stay active, alert, and connected. People who take these drugs for long periods start experiencing memory lapses, trouble concentrating, and in more serious cases, confused behavior and disorientation. Another issue is that as we age, the body takes longer to metabolize these drugs. This means the effect builds up, leading to daytime drowsiness, falls, loss of reflexes, and, quietly, a disconnect between mind and reality. And often, these symptoms are chalked up to aging, when in fact, they're caused by the drug itself. In practice, what was supposed to be a relief turns into an invisible prison. The person becomes dependent to sleep, to calm down, and gradually loses emotional and mental autonomy. It's a high price to pay for a temporary effect. So if you use medications for anxiety or insomnia, talk to your doctor. There are natural alternatives, lifestyle changes, and safer ways to restore balance. Your mind is the core of your identity. Protect it as your greatest treasure. Antidepressants are essential medications for treating mental disorders like depression, anxiety, and insomnia. They help stabilize mood, restore sleep patterns, and improve motivation in people who truly need them. However, when used over long periods, especially by older adults, they can have side effects that compromise cognitive health. Among the most commonly observed are slowed thinking, difficulty concentrating, mental confusion, and memory loss. These symptoms often appear subtly and are mistaken for the natural aging process. But in reality, they may be linked to the continued and unreviewed use of these medications. The warning here isn't about stopping treatment, far from it. For those who are diagnosed and under medical care, antidepressants can be indispensable. The concern is with prolonged and automatic use, without regular adjustments, without considering complementary alternatives, and without proper monitoring. Older adults have slower metabolisms, which means the drug stays in their system longer and intensifies its effects. This makes regular evaluation of dosage and the need for continued use even more important. Extra attention can prevent major impacts on mental health and ensure the treatment remains truly beneficial. If you or someone close to you is using antidepressants, talk to a trusted doctor. Request periodic check-ins, watch for cognitive changes, and keep the conversation open about how the medication is affecting daily life. Painkillers are, without a doubt, some of the most widely used medications in the world, especially among older adults. They relieve chronic pain, muscle aches, headaches, joint pain, and so they seem harmless. But long-term use of certain types of painkillers can impair brain function, affect mood, and even increase the risk of confusion and memory loss. Some of these medications act directly on the nervous system, changing how the brain interprets pain. And by doing that, especially with ongoing use, they also interfere with areas responsible for attention, mental clarity, and memory. The effect is subtle at first, but over time, thinking slows down, forgetfulness sets in, and focusing on simple tasks becomes harder. Another risk is the accumulation of these substances in older adults, whose metabolism is slower. This increases the likelihood of side effects like dizziness, drowsiness, disorientation, and even falls, which can lead to fractures and loss of independence. On top of that, mixing painkillers with other medications can amplify these effects without the patient even realizing it. It's important to remember that in moments of intense pain or after surgery, these medications are necessary. The problem is in the habit of using them continuously for months or years without exploring other forms of treatment or pain management. Seeking alternatives like physical therapy, gentle movement practices, or natural treatments can make a long-term difference in your health. If you frequently use painkillers, bring this up with your doctor. Ask if there are other options. Review how often you're taking them, and pay attention to whether your mental clarity has changed since starting the treatment. Managing pain is essential, but not at the cost of your mental sharpness. Painkillers are one of the most commonly used medications by older adults, and also one of the most dangerous when used continuously and without guidance. They seem harmless, taken to relieve back pain, joint aches, or after minor injuries. But the truth is that long-term use of certain painkillers, especially opioids and powerful anti-inflammatories, can lead to deep consequences that go beyond physical pain. One of the lesser-known effects is the link between painkillers and hearing loss, something that silently affects many older adults. Studies show that chronic use of certain painkillers can damage sensory cells in the ear, gradually impairing hearing. And it doesn't stop there. People with hearing loss have a higher risk of developing dementia, including Alzheimer's. This doesn't mean that hearing loss directly causes dementia, but there are important connections. When we hear less, our brain receives fewer stimuli. This lowers brain activity, encouraging cognitive decline over time. Plus, difficulty hearing often leads people to isolate themselves socially, and isolation is one of the most associated factors with neurological diseases in older adults. Another important point is mental effort. People with hearing loss have to concentrate much more to understand what's being said. This cognitive effort diverts resources the brain would normally use for other tasks, like memory, attention, and reasoning. Over time, this can accelerate mental fatigue and directly affect independence. That's why continuous use of painkillers should always be monitored. They have their role in specific situations, but prolonged use without re-evaluation can harm not just hearing, but also mental clarity and quality of life. If you use this type of medication frequently, talk to your doctor. Ask for hearing tests. Watch for signs of social withdrawal or trouble following conversations, and consider other ways to manage pain. Few people realize that antibiotics, used to treat common infections, can also affect brain health. These medications are essential for fighting dangerous bacteria, but frequent or inappropriate use can cause imbalances that directly impact the brain. What happens is that antibiotics don't just kill harmful bacteria. They also destroy the good bacteria in your gut, which are responsible for producing essential substances that support mental balance. When this gut flora is disrupted, symptoms like mental fatigue, confusion, mood changes, and even trouble concentrating can appear. In addition, certain classes of antibiotics, when overused, have already been linked to neurological symptoms in older adults, such as delirium, memory lapses, and temporary disorientation. And in people who already have a more sensitive brain, these effects can be even more intense. The greatest risk isn't in occasional use, but in repeated, unnecessary use or self-medicating. Taking antibiotics without medical supervision or not completing the full course disrupts the body and weakens the system as a whole. If you've needed antibiotics recently, pay attention to how you felt in the days or weeks afterward. And if you notice cognitive changes, mental fatigue, or a foggy mind, talk to your doctor. Rebuilding your gut flora with probiotics or a fiber-rich diet can help restore the lost balance. Not everyone can simply stop taking the medications we've discussed. Whether it's due to chronic pain, severe anxiety, or other health issues, many people genuinely need them to maintain quality of life. And that's okay. What matters is understanding that, along with controlled and supervised use, there are natural strategies that can protect the brain and reduce the risk of dementia over time. You're not stuck. You have options. Some of the most effective forms of defense include non-stimulating, non-addictive natural compounds. These come from plants with therapeutic properties that support memory, enhance mental clarity, and help preserve hearing, which, as we've seen, is directly linked to dementia risk. Unlike many commercial supplements full of empty promises, these ingredients have a real history of use and are backed by serious studies. Here are some of the key ones. Panax ginseng, known for its ability to stimulate brain function without causing agitation. It improves blood flow to the brain, boosts memory, and reduces mental fatigue, especially in older adults. It also supports emotional balance, which is essential for those living with pain or cognitive challenges. Green tea, rich in antioxidants that combat cellular aging and reduce silent inflammation in the brain. It's one of the few natural compounds that improve both brain function and hearing, thanks to its protective effects on the blood vessels in the inner ear, all without overstimulating the nervous system or causing dependency. Grapeseed extract, a powerful ally for neurological health. It protects neurons from oxidative damage, improves circulation, and has been studied for its role in preserving hearing and memory. It acts like a natural shield against premature brain aging. If you already take any of the medications we've talked about and are concerned about long-term effects, incorporating these natural compounds into your routine can be a game changer. Now that you understand the risks and what can be done to protect your mental health, I want to share something personal. In recent months, I started to worry about a few subtle signs: minor memory slips, difficulty understanding conversations in noisy environments, and a slight hearing loss that really raised a red flag. After deep research and speaking with professionals, I found a natural formula that brings together several ingredients that support both brain and hearing health. No stimulants, completely natural. I started using it preventively as part of ongoing care. The most important thing is to stay alert, conscious, and never stop taking care of the thing that sustains everything, your mind. In addition to the natural ingredients I mentioned earlier, there's something even simpler, and you can start right now: your diet. What you put on your plate every day can be a deciding factor in keeping your mind sharp, your memory strong, and your cognition protected over the years. And the best part? It's not expensive or hard to find. Eggs are, without a doubt, one of the most complete foods out there. And when it comes to brain health, they deserve the spotlight. Rich in choline, an essential nutrient for producing acetylcholine, the main neurotransmitter for memory, eggs directly support communication between neurons. Choline also helps prevent brain shrinkage that comes with aging, making eggs true allies for lifelong mental clarity. Eggs also provide B vitamins, especially B12, which is critical for maintaining a balanced nervous system. A deficiency in this vitamin is common in older adults and is linked to memory loss, confusion, and even mood swings. Eating eggs regularly and in moderation helps maintain healthy levels of these vitamins, acting as a natural shield against cognitive decline. Avocado is a superfood that's often underrated, but it has a direct and positive impact on brain health. Rich in monounsaturated fats, especially oleic acid, it helps preserve the integrity of neuronal membranes, encouraging more stable, resilient brain connections. These healthy fats are also great for vascular health, meaning better brain circulation and oxygenation for memory and reasoning centers. In addition to healthy fats, avocados contain key antioxidants like lutein and vitamin E, which reduce silent inflammation in the brain. Even low-grade inflammation is a major villain for cognitive health and is linked to diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. Eating avocado regularly may help neutralize this damage, protecting your brain in a continuous and natural way. Blueberries are tiny in size, but huge in benefits. They're one of the most researched foods when it comes to brain protection, thanks to their impressive concentration of antioxidants like anthocyanins. These compounds help protect the brain from oxidative stress, which is directly tied to premature aging of brain cells. Studies show that regular blueberry consumption can improve neuron communication, strengthen short-term memory, and slow cognitive decline. In older adults with mild memory lapses, the effects are even more noticeable. Blueberries also improve brain blood flow, which supports focus, attention, and reaction time in everyday activities. They're easy to add to your diet, Mix them into yogurt, smoothies, salads, or just eat them on their own as a snack. Even in small amounts, the cumulative effects are powerful. Adding blueberries to your routine is like building an invisible shield around your brain, offering gentle, ongoing protection. After everything you've heard in this video, there's one thing that should be crystal clear. No single food, miracle supplement, or medication alone will prevent or cause dementia. Brain health is the result of a combination of factors that accumulate over the years. Genetics, lifestyle, diet, sleep, stress, social relationships, and the quality of the air you breathe. And yes, some people have a genetic predisposition to develop conditions like Alzheimer's, even with healthy habits. But that's not a reason to give up. It's a reason to take even more conscious care. People often search for easy answers, someone to blame, or a quick fix. But the truth is, your brain, just like your body, needs to be nourished, stimulated, and protected every single day. No one tea, capsule, or fruit will determine your mental fate. It's the sum of your choices, the consistency of your care, and how you handle your daily routine, even when no one's watching. That's what slowly builds or destroys your brain's vitality. It's also essential to understand that not every memory lapse is a sign of disease, just as not everyone with Alzheimer's developed it from neglect. It's a complex, multifactorial condition that is still being thoroughly studied by scientists worldwide. That's why balance is key. Not paranoia, not indifference. You can't control everything, but you can take charge of what's within your reach. And that already changes a lot. The good news is that the brain is an incredibly adaptable organ. With stimulation, movement, proper nutrition, and strong social bonds, it can form new connections even in old age. That means it's never too late to start caring for your mind. It's never too early to protect your clarity. And it's never wrong to want to grow old with independence, dignity, and presence of mind. At the end of the day, this responsibility is yours. Not your doctor's, not your medications, not luck's. It's up to you to decide every day what kind of mind you're cultivating. And the earlier you wake up to this awareness, the greater your chances of keeping your mental clarity alive to the end. Because living well isn't just about time, it's about presence. If you've made it this far, know this. You've already taken a step that many don't have the courage to take. The step of awareness. The step of looking at your health actively and responsibly, not waiting for problems to show up before doing something about them. While most people ignore the signs, repeat automatic habits, and trust blindly in what's normal, you're here, trying to understand what can change. And that already puts you on a different path. This video wasn't made to scare you or to dictate rules. It was made to shine a light, to show that behind the things we call routine, there are choices silently shaping your future, for better or worse. It's here to remind you that aging with clarity isn't luck, it's preparation. And your mind, your memory, your vitality deserve more than occasional care. They deserve presence, attention, and conscious choices every single day. Nothing said here is about prohibition. It's about awareness. If you take medications, continue your treatment. But stay alert. Ask questions. Get informed. Pay attention to the signs your body tries to send you. And don't be afraid to explore complementary, natural, and preventive alternatives. Don't wait for forgetfulness to come knocking to value clarity. Don't wait to lose independence, to wish you had done things differently. Your brain is the home of your story, your identity, your most precious memories. Protecting it is, in the end, protecting who you are. And no one can do that for you. Only you can. If this video resonated with you, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell. That way, you'll keep getting content that helps you take care of your body wisely and your mind truthfully. And leave a comment below. I choose to care for my mind with awareness and clarity. That sentence seals your commitment to the life you want to live. lucid, present, and whole.